Hello, viewers. Welcome back to another series of stock views. I picked up a few stocks for this week. Let's just go over that. The first thing which I want to talk about is our regular ETFs. One is the Spider SPY. This is my go-to ETF always to understand the market, what trends are going on right now, and based on that, you invest on the other stocks. Looking at the Spider, I'm looking at 5 minutes at a daily chart here right now. It has been in a good trend. You could see that the upward movement, and then in the March timeframe, it did go through a pullback, crossed the 50 days moving average, and then again it picked it up. Looking at some of the technical part of it, I have the 20 days, 50 days, 150, and 200. I think in this particular point, that's where all these setups were incorrect in the sense the 20 days is lesser than the 50. Ideally, the time where when I invest is that when they lined up perfectly, where 20 days is greater than 50 days, 50 days is greater than 150, and 150 is greater than 200. So that's a right setup for me to invest in. So that's when I felt when the things were moving down at this stage, especially April timeframe, I pulled out a few sales, just to get the profit out from my account, looking at Spider. So Spider is kind of an indicator for me to say where the market is trending. So what is going on right now, you will get to know from the Spider chart. And if you look at it again, the momentum came back. You could see that it was kind of in a oversold area. Then slowly the momentum started picking up, and I think it was from the April's time frame. Momentum started picking up. Now it's in the peak zone. RSI is it's kind of a overbought zone. Obviously, when there's an overbought, then you have a fluctuation in the price, so it's tend to come down. So we could see that the price movement went up. It hit the max. I think this is actually the highest value of Spider right now compared to 5-10 years, and you could see it has reached the peak. And peak, generally when you hit the peak, you tend to go in sideways. It's in the churning mode right now, so the market is not telling you what to do. It says it's in a bull market, but not 100% convincing the investors to invest in it. The reason behind is that everybody is waiting for the rate cuts, and the federal government has to come back and give a good news. So no news tends to put some of these stocks in the sideway moment. So for now, if you look at it, the setup seems to be right here. You can see 20 days is greater than 50, 50 is greater than 150, 150 is greater than 200. So this is a right setup for your bull market, or in generally the upward trend market. So I'm expecting it to go a little bit of a sideways movement and then go up towards its another peak. I'm expecting that to happen. So this is one stock which I generally monitor to understand the trend in the market. The next thing which I also look at it is the Nasdaq Composite Index. Again, if you look at the trend, pretty much identical between the Spider and the Nasdaq. So you can see there was a good progress from October timeframe onwards all the way till March, April. Then it took a dip. Again, you can see the setup again. It kind of changed. The setup changed similar to what we have seen with the Spider. Looking at it, you can see that 20 days went down the 50 days, and then the price also went down closer. It was closer to 150 days. So Nasdaq had slightly higher variation than the Spider. Again, some of these indicators helps us to understand how the market is trending. So you can see that it went down. It was a pullback. This is the right time to put some money back into the investment. So when I felt at this particular stage, when I saw this trend happening, where the 20 days the price was moving down, I pulled out some cash from other stocks. So just I felt like the trend is changing, so I thought I'll just get some cash out, put it in my keep it as a cash, and then later invest when the market comes back. So that's my general approach I follow. And then again, the same trend. April, it picked it up again. The trend went up, and now it's slowly, gradually going up. Definitely, it's in the peak, and I'm expecting a little bit more churn because you have the RSA already in the peak stage. So I'm expecting this to churn a little bit, go up above the 70, stay there for some time until we hear some good news from the Fed. So overall, the trend is more in kind of wait and watch mode what the Fed is going to do. And I'm expecting if there's a news comes out, that's the moment when all these numbers, all these trends will just spike up. That's a moment everybody is waiting for in the market. The next stock which I picked up for our today's discussion is a company called ULTA Beauty. This has been doing really well in the market past a year and a half. Everybody is crazy about this stock, and the price was just really appreciating very well. for a few years. And I think the pandemic time was the some kind of breakthrough. It happened. It took, and then from there the trend was just all the way up, and it hit the peak recently. I think April 2023. That's when it hit the max, which is around $553. And then they were not performing very well. Plus, the market was also not appreciative enough of some of these big winners. So it just came down. It had that again breakthrough of the price. Then there was a downtrend followed, and then again October time 2023 was again another push to the bull market. You have seen in majority of the stocks in the October timeframe last year, everyone was picking up because there was kind of a bull market trend was going on, a lot of good news, and at the same time there was a holiday rally. Investors generally take that moment, kind of that period as a mechanism to get the profit and end the year in a positive note. So that's kind of the holiday rally, I call it as. So that's when it picked it up again, and then it had a really good run till February. Then after that, the last quarter results were really bad for this company. That's when it started seeing the trend. So if you look at the trend again, I'm in the day chart. You could switch back to the weekly chart to here. If I switch back to the weekly chart again, it's in the same trend. You could see it went all the way to the spike, came down, then went up, and now it's back down. So if you look at it, you can see this is one shoulder, this is a head, and then this is a small shoulder, and then went up, and then now it is back down because the results were not good. So you could probably get some patterns out here looking at some of these things. It's a classic shoulder, head and shoulder pattern. So you could see a shoulder here, head, and then a shoulder, and then it went tried to peak up at that moment, and then February, because of the bad results, the stock has been performing really bad. So again, the stock went down 200 days moving average. So this is an indicator for me generally to consider this for short selling. I any stocks which are just about 200 days moving average, I never do the shorting on that. The reason behind that, you don't know which direction it could head. So looking at some of the trends here, some of the technicals here, volume has been consistently low. People were not so excited about the stocks, definitely. People who are holding it, they're holding it. Some of them are doing more short selling. So you could see the peak happened here, then there was a kind of oversold, then there was a overbought at this stage. That's when it went back to its peak. Then it fell down because there was no good results delivered last quarter, and I think I'm expecting the similar pattern to show up, similar results to show up in the upcoming quarters too. So what do we expect out of this stock? This stock is in kind of a downtrend. I'm looking at it. So this is one bottom. I'm expecting the chart basically to go down again. Yeah, it should basically go down and then maybe pick up slightly. It should hit another bottom. So this is the trend I'm looking at it. Again, some of these things, looking at the technicals, this is what I could visualize what's going to happen for this particular stock. So I'm going to just put this stock in the watch list for short selling. So I'm going to monitor next week to see how the price trends are and then take action. So if there's some momentum going on and it picked it up, that's the point I try to kind of consider this as a short sell, because the general tendency here is that once it hits that 200 days moving average down, that's when the investors who have been holding the stock will try to push that up. There will be a upward pressure for the price. So it should my if my prediction is right, it should go up slightly up, hit a small peak, then because of no solid conviction from all the investors, the price should just go down. So that's what I'm expecting. It should go spike up and then go down. That's the signal when it touches back again the 200 days moving average at this point. If the trend is right, so I probably do this way, go up, and then when it comes down at this stage, when the price crosses the 200 days moving average, that's the point I consider this as a buy point, and then it should follow the trend to downward. So wait for that moment to happen, especially when you're doing a short, because you could lose money in short selling. So if the trend goes up again, then you probably lose a lot of money. So I would wait for that signal to happen where it came down to 200 days moving average. It should spike up and then gradually the price coming down. That's the indicator for me that there's a downwards pressure for the stock, and that's the moment I take advantage of going and shorting this particular stock. So keep an eye on it. Yeah, going back to the stock, if you have seen past few years, you could see that I'm basically evaluating the life cycle here. So it was having a good growth momentum, then a stagnation, then kind of downgrading. the price falling down. Then again, it kind of went up, a kind of growth momentum kicked back again. Then it went down. So in parallel, if you look at it, look at the some of these moving averages. So those are some of my key indicators. So if you look at it, it went up all the way in the growth momentum, stagnation, and then once you hit that stagnation, a period where the price is moving sideways, that's a point where I generally consider as a sellout time. So whatever stocks I had to sell it out. I don't have personally don't have I've not purchased this stock, but I'm closely watching this or monitoring this particular stock. At some point, I will get in this stock. So for now, I don't have any investment in it. So I look at this particular point as the sell point. Once you hit that sell point, you could see the trend went down. That's kind of the downwards trend, and then slightly momentum picked up. But still, if you look at it, the price did not cross that 200 days moving average. So anything below 200 days moving average, I generally don't consider this as a growth phase, because the price, the company has to prove itself that it is worth going up the 200 days moving average. So it went up slightly. It's again, it's kind of pullback on the positive direction, so upward trend. So it did a pullback. Then after that, that's the point where the pressure was downwards. So the price pressure was downwards. So it went back again down. So it went down, and you can see it's a newer lower lows. You could see there was a lower low here, and then this actually beat the lower low. So if I expect the trend, if I visualize the trend, I'm expecting another lower low to happen somewhere around maybe 340, 340, between 340, 320 to 340. It depends on what they come up with the earnings. Okay, so I'm expecting somewhere here 340 something with the new lower low. Maybe the trend is going to just continue the same model. So I'm expecting some more downturn waiting for this particular stock. So that's kind of a life cycle analysis for this stock. Now, looking at some of the other technicals, the moving average is kind of a mess right now. So you can see that 200 days is, so 20 days is the purple one, which is completely down. Uh, then we have the 50 days, which is again lower than the 200 days and 150. So I'm expecting the 150 and 200 days to flow. So by looking at some of the technicals, the moving average, the RSI, and then the life cycle, this stock is actually kind of trending in the downward direction. So those are some of my indicators to basically whether to buy, stay longer, or go for shorting. So I picked up the stock for this week to short. So I'm waiting how it behaves in this week, and then based on that I take the action. So this is the daily one. The next stock which I want to talk about, again, it's in the beauty business. It's called Elf Beauty Inc. This is another stock. It's been in my radar for a very long time. I usually compare both ULTA and Elf side by side just to see how they are trending. This company has been doing very well compared to ULTA past quarter and quarter and a half. That's where ULTA was actually trending downwards, but this particular stock has been doing very well. Last quarter too, they had a really good 70% growth. Uh, Even the recent quarter earnings are also better than what analysts has expected. So I'm expecting kind of a upward trend again. So if you look at it, the fundamentals are not right yet. In the sense, when I say fundamental, basically the technical indicators are not right yet, but I am seeing the price momentum going up. So what does it mean for this particular company? People are excited just because of the earnings. So they saw good earnings. What is that going to lead to? Basically, a spike up in the price. So that's what we're seeing here, and it showed up in my chart in my watch list because we have a spike here, volume spike, which basically my one of my indicator I monitor. So there was a spike at this stage. Again, there's another spike on 23rd. So that actually brought the price up, upward momentum. But I'm expecting this stock to basically move in a sideward churn. So it should go up and come down. Because why do I consider that way? Because some of the technical aspects of it are not aligned properly. For example, you could see that 20 days moving average is uh, is slightly lesser than the 50 days moving average, and then both of them are aligned perfectly fine with the 150 and 200 days. So these two indicators on a short term, so when you have your 20 days and 50 days are not in a right place, which means that investors are basically not sure in terms of uh, the short term period how this particular stock was going to behave. Just because they had a really good earnings, the price actually spiked up. So I'm expecting a little bit of price movement upwards, and then gradually down again and come back to its original position of in this category. So if I basically put a rectangle here, and this is the place it should come back. That's my area where I'm going to keep watching this particular stock. So it should go up, further up, and then come back to its original position. So the trend should be somewhere like this. So it should go up and then just basically come down slowly, gradually down, and then come back to its mean position. So which is at this stage, and it should basically fluctuate in this place until the market picks it up. So I'm looking at somewhere between 179 and 146. That's its resistance and support layer. So keep an eye on it. This is another good company. They've been performing very well, but the market trends are not so good. So it's basically another. Looking at some of the technicals here for this company, I see that the price should come back to its mean position and fluctuate. You can see a volume spike here. Not that many buy signals here. Most of them were like sell. The volume was pretty average, I would say. And on top of it, the RSI is moving towards the overbought, so it has still some room to basically increase the price. So I'm looking at somewhere 200 times around 207, between 210 to 205 is the range which I could see that the RSI will peak to its position. So somewhere by June 10th, you should see that it should max out, and then after that, it should probably come back to its original position of kind of mean reversion strategy. So it basically comes back to its mean position, which is nothing but at this stage. So we're looking at 170 something. So and uh, and then fluctuate from here. So kind of a sideways movement shown in this sideways movement. So that's kind of the behavior I'm expecting from the technical. Looking at the technical, I'm not looking at any of the news and other social media here. I'm purely going based on what I have right now, the core fundamental of core indicators which I follow. So those are my kind of analysis right now. So I'm going to keep monitoring the stock. It's not ready. It's not my type of stock, but I will keep an eye on it. If I have to take a shorting approach on this particular stock, it should come down to 200 days moving average. So if something goes wrong, this crosses the 200 days moving average, that's when I would probably keep an eye on it. And I will wait for that to happen. If everything goes well, then it should come out of this 179 mark. That's the kind of the peak resistant area. Once it hits above the resistance, that's another point I probably tend to invest. So those are my key places to enter, and then and wait for the stock to tell me what to do next. So that's kind of the overall observation for this.